podcast is rated PG-13. Parents strongly cautioned. Some material may be inappropriate for children under 13. Mission 250.
Dune. John's gonna do it. Dune. Come on, John. Dune.
No, you said you were going. If I remember, you said you were going to embarrass yourself.
Oh, TC's there. Dune.
I appreciate that TC's pitching in, but I'm refusing. Yeah.
Guys, we're watching Star Wars. We got our own Star Wars.
That's right.
We're watching Star Wars.
Again.
It's called Dunage.
And this time it's new and it's in theaters. It's called Dune this time. It's directed by Denis Villeneuve. I improved my how to say his name. It's not Villa, it's Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve?
It's like
Villeneuve?
you're trying to say Denis Villeneuve, but saying it really fast.
Denis Villeneuve. Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll go with that.
Anyway, but this movie is brand new. It's been out for a week now. The synopsis is feature adaptation of Frank Herbert's science fiction novel about a son and a noble family entrusted with the protection of the most valuable asset and most vital element in the galaxy, which is
nutmeg.
Spoilers. It's nutmeg. It's the expensive kind. It's the $8 bottle
It's
kind.
the best fucking pumpkin latte you've ever had.
You just got to be around it and you get stoned.
That's right.
Yeah. Go see this in theaters, huh?
Oh, I wish.
Give these guys money.
I fucked
I know.
up and saw it at home.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm happy. I participated in this. I got 5 people to go to the IMAX last weekend to the San
Well
Francisco
done.
Metreon Theater. So our $21 tickets, believe it or not, went to getting the Dune 2, whatever, Dune Part 2.
I think the streaming helped still. I think there's some kind of revenue or tracking in that, maybe. I'd like to think. Like, I wasn't going to go out to theaters yet until the kids are vaccinated.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
John
I
has a
know-
good excuse. TC's got no excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Yep. No.
That's all right.
Except for the
I don't
general
know.
fear of leaving the house, like we all
Right,
have
right.
these
You
days.
get mugged out there.
Sure,
I mean, it's dangerous out there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
You need to go out there late
I
at
mean,
night.
I'm glad I had the 5-1 for it. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, God, I bet
yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go first since I saw it in theaters?
Yo,
'Cause
please
I'm gonna
do.
Sell it.
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes.
sell. I'm gonna try to
Yes.
sell the shit out of it to go to the
sell
theaters.
it.
Well, so first, everybody should go see this.
100%.
Hey, one way or the other.
Go
However,
to the theater if
yeah.
you can. If you really can't, see it on HBO. It's only on there for 3 more weeks.
See it. Yeah, dude.
So-
Yeah, see it. No matter what.
See it.
Yeah.
On the loudest speakers you can, the best sound system you can, the biggest screen you can.
Yep.
Because, I saw this movie
It's
at the
awesome.
San Francisco. It is awesome. The San Francisco Metreon IMAX Theater is the second biggest IMAX screen in the country. It is 97 feet by 75 feet.
Whoa.
It's fucking huge.
Huge.
And they have a 12-channel sound system there.
Is there even like a good spot to see, or like is it anywhere you go?
We
it's
were
gonna be...
all the way in the back, dude. I got the reserved seating, and I got them pretty early, and we're all the way in the back, nearly in the center, and I could barely fit the entire screen in my eyesight. Like, I don't know how
Whoa.
anyone else saw it from
Right.
any closer
Right.
than we were. Like, it was already too big.
God, that
Right.
sounds fantastic.
It was so good. The sound, I don't know what was better. Like, the special effects in this movie looked so damn real. I was sitting there, like my asshole self being like, that's not real. That's stupid looking. That barely happened in this movie. And
Yeah.
it must have something to do with like the way they chose how to do the colors, because it's kind of uniform in color. It's
Yeah.
not like a Marvel movie where it's like there's
I
blue
don't know,
on
but-
red and all this crazy shit.
True.
What's
It's like very
so
tan and
fantastic
gray.
is how big everything is. It's
Oh,
just
big.
enormous.
Things are so fantastically big.
Yeah.
Even like there's like this is the biggest carpets I've ever seen. Like they're like huge carpets, man. They were like half the spaceship carpet that
They
they
took
had
that
for rolling
shot
out.
from like Empire Strikes Back, where it's still a good shot, where it has all the stormtroopers lined up in that giant
Right,
square,
yeah.
and it does
Yeah.
that, and then it multiplies it by 20, like all
It
the way
does.
down as far as you can see.
You definitely
Yeah.
can. There's like that Star Wars influence on that, but yeah, it's so much bigger and majestic looking. It's just, man, that alone,
It's
I mean,
mind blowing, man. Like it
Yeah.
honestly, the entire movie, I had just a smile on my face.
The
Yeah.
Emperor is so much more like easily digestible in this one.
Yeah.
Or the Baron,
The big guy. Yeah, whatever.
the fat dude,
yeah.
yeah.
The fat dude.
No,
yeah.
he is.
It's not so stupid. It was such a like a character.
So
caricature
have you
in
guys read the
first one.
books?
Yeah.
No.
I read
Denny,
I
you
read the
haven't-
first
you
300
haven't?
pages and then stopped because honestly I was bored.
Okay.
I didn't
So
like the writing
I've
style.
read the book like 4 times.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's one of
but-
those.
Book corner.
Yeah, I'm one of those. Yeah, so I'll try it. I can pepper some things through.
Don't spoil anything for us, John.
Well,
I'll kill
no,
you if you
no,
spoil
but
anything.
This is what I'll do is like this. The
Dead.
movie covers like just half the book, so I'll pepper stuff in that only is in that half. So I won't say anything else about what happens.
Good.
But also,
If you let anything slip, I'm flying directly to you to kick you in the balls, okay? Just as
Okay.
the deal.
it'd be good to see you.
Yeah.
But,
hey, John, good to see you. Where?
Okay, can we go? Let's go have some dinner now. Come on.
Give me 5
Now
minutes.
that's out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me, man. I'm lonely out here. Anyway, yeah, I'll try to, but like, yeah, the Baron was awesome. I thought
Yep.
they made him sinister, weird, and the book, I don't like it. In the book, it's all about how he's fat and yucky looking, and he's also a pedophile in the book in a big way. And so
In a big way,
in a
you
big
said.
way, right? Well, they just over and over. Oh, he likes the boys. And it's just like that makes such an easy bad guy in a way that it's just sort of annoying. But no, I thought they did a pretty cool job of making this guy scarier, and like the lights on his back were the way they
And
did
the sounds
that, and his-
associated with the lights.
yeah, I agree, TC. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. What else? So the sounds. Just speaking
Yeah,
of the
go.
sounds, this movie's going to win
Sound was great.
Oscars upon Oscars for sure.
I love the voice, the one like inside their heads, where it was like 8,000 layers of like high.
Yeah.
Oh
low.
yeah, where it's like,
Ah, it's
give me the
great.
water.
Yeah,
Kill
kill him.
Water.
Kill him.
Give me the
Yeah,
knife.
that
Yeah.
scene was really
Oh, it's
cool in
great.
the beginning. And something else the movie does. There's personal touches here which aren't in the book so much, which are really nice.
It's Denis. He's
Yeah,
touching
yeah.
things. He's grabbing it.
It
He's
is.
molding it.
No, it's really good. Like that scene, and he's like, "Ma, I just woke up." You know, there's not that kind of personal sort of touch there.
Because the book is cold as shit, right? That's what I got
Kind
out of the
It's
first
a- it's
300
a bit,
pages.
Yeah, it's a bit more intellectual. I mean, and sometimes sort of at least it's a good book to read when you're younger too. And I don't know, when I read it now, and I still like it, but and the later books get more of this where they're like, look how smart we are, or how smart these people are, kind of thing. And it gets a little annoying. So it is a little seemingly colder like that. You know, it's more about the things that are going on in the politics or whatever. So yeah, it doesn't have those warm touches, and it's so good the way they do it.
It's way better. Just like a couple of
yeah.
the scenes that I remember from reading the book, there was the one with the hunter-seeker scene. Like
Mhm.
in this movie, I mean, you got the visuals. He's got the hologram going on. He's got
Right,
the
right.
way it looks real, and it's tiny, and it's cool. Like it looks, the design is really
it looks
cool.
really cool. Yeah.
And it's suspenseful. Like the scene is suspenseful. In the book, it's kind of just, I feel like it was just describing a series of events to a point where it wasn't suspenseful during that scene, you know? Like I didn't really
Yeah.
care for Paul to survive. Like, I was like, he's the main character. He's going to live. There's nothing suspenseful here. So also, what was the other one that what is it called? The needle? With the poison?
the Golem Chabar.
The Gom Jabbar part. That part also in the book wasn't suspenseful. And that was super freaking suspenseful in the movie.
I sort of agree. I think that the book is really cool for its ideas and its setting and the different things it presents. There's some cool scenes. There's actually a couple of scenes I think that the book does better that are some of my favorite from the book. But go on, talk about your side. I can give more of my stuff too if you want, Denny, if you want to keep going. Or should we just
I can keep going.
just
So
jabbering whoever wants to?
Yeah, we can keep interrupting me. No problem. But
Okay, good. So I
yeah.
wanted to say, so the two
let me talk
scenes-
about the book a little more right up front here.
Yeah. What are you writing in the book
Yeah,
corner?
I don't care. My favorite scenes in the book.
No, he's not lying. He's
are-
going to go.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, you go ahead.
No,
No,
John,
no,
I'm kidding,
no.
dude. Go for it. He wants to say something. He's read it 4
Are you
times.
sure? No, it's okay. I don't have to. All right, I'll go. So, I was waiting for you to get up to the mic.
Oh shit. Man.
So, the scene where they first meet Stilgar's tribe out in the desert, and they have that like Jessica overtakes Stilgar. It's one of my favorite scenes in the book too, and his fight with the guy afterwards. Those two scenes I thought the book actually does really well too, and I really liked it. So those two scenes I thought the book did really well, and the movie was like I think I was looking forward to those scenes more, and just like it was just okay because I was like really excited because of how much better a lot of the stuff from the movie was than the book, as far especially drama or action. But
And that's the end of the movie too, right? Like that's the last scene of the movie.
And that's about the middle of the book. So we're really we're pretty close to that middle point where the movie just ends. So it's pretty cool though.
Yeah, people are saying, if you read reviews, and I heard some of my friends who have seen it too, that they don't think anything happens. Like that's the weirdest criticism. it's all set up. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They
What do you
travel
mean?
between
No.
planets.
They
had
do
like
all
half
sorts
the
of shit.
people freaking die in the movie.
Yeah, his
like
dad
A whole,
dies.
Yeah.
I mean,
a whole part of the groups die.
Yeah.
Like of the emperors. I mean,
he
Jesus
gets
Christ.
kicked out of the
A whole
the whole
people.
plan is changed. Like they have to completely shift what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
It's insane to say that nothing happens in this.
I thought
Yeah,
a
I
lot
know.
happened. I mean, I wasn't bored, and it was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah, and it was slow.
Yeah.
That was another criticism I heard. It's slow, and I couldn't disagree, but I don't think slow is bad.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was that. It wasn't slow to the point of boring.
Right, but that slow
no,
isn't
because
boring. But like
everything,
it really
everything was beautiful
sat,
to look at.
It sat on shots like for a long
Yeah.
time, and I loved it because I'm just looking
Oh,
at the
yeah.
whole thing like, holy shit, this is beautiful, and like the soundtrack was really good.
Yeah.
Like there's absolutely no need to show this whole scene of a ship rising out of the lake. There's no reason. It's not even in the book, as far as I know.
Except for that, it looks fucking
but
amazing.
It looks amazing.
fucking
And
cool.
I
right.
know, and I'm happy to see it because it just looks.
Well, there is a reason too, because
astonishing.
they're all traveling to Arrakis. I mean, that's part of the plot, right?
It's a
Well,
big,
yeah.
it's a
Oh,
big
no, it
It's
is,
not just
but-
eye
but
candy.
there's-
It's like kind of
No, but they could just get on a ship. They don't need to show a ship coming out of a lake
For like 2
God's sake,
minutes.
you know, right?
Yeah.
But it's great.
I haven't been to the theater in so long, and that scene was like the first
Yeah.
scene where like the music swells and like
Oh,
you got the
yeah.
Hans Zimmer thing. Like
Yeah.
I almost came to tears just looking at it. Like this is
Aw.
fucking beautiful. I miss this so much.
Oh,
Yeah, top
He's at
theater
tears
experience.
He's in tears now. He's
I am.
crying.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, I'm
that's awesome.
drenched in tears. Oh, it was beautiful, man. This movie was
Oh,
fucking
he's
beautiful.
drinking it too because it's recycled in his soup. um,
there he goes. Someone's
Yeah.
been paying attention.
Oh yeah.
It's
you
sweat
know.
and tears, they say. No one's
Yeah,
mentioning
oh,
pee. Come on.
tastes
Well,
great.
they didn't. In
Tastes
the book,
great.
they talk about where your feces and urine are processed in the thigh pads, but they don't bother to mention.
Oh,
that
it
in
processes
movie,
the
so.
shit in that suit? I guess that would make
Yep.
sense.
It's got to process it somewhere.
Well, they
Yeah.
also mention how the Freemen stink in the book too, because
I'm
they're
sure.
they're pooping in their suit. So yeah.
Ooh. So what happens when like they're fighting and someone slices that thing? It must just be like,
Yeah.
I know that scene where it showed like the woman who was kind of the intermediary.
Liette Kynes.
Yeah, and she gets stabbed from the behind.
Right, and the
a bunch
water
of
comes
water
out
just
of her.
water comes out.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was great.
that was like,
yeah, I
whoa.
liked that. I was like, holy
that was
shit.
amazing.
Also, did
So
you guys know
yeah.
this movie was rated PG-13?
No.
This is the most violent fucking PG-13 movie I've ever seen. There's at least like 20 people that just get their throats cut and there's blood
Yeah.
coming
I
off of a
don't-
knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think they show the action.
They
of it,
show
you know,
a
they
lot
don't
of it. And
necessarily-
when the second time I watched it, I was paying
Yeah.
attention and like they just drop dead bodies in the ground. Like you see dead bodies,
Yeah.
you see blood.
Yeah, yeah,
there are
yeah.
scenes of like knives going through people, and there's blood.
I mean,
Like,
those
usually it's
worms, those worms were scary, dude.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's
they
super
did.
dark too.
Exactly.
Like maybe that's one of the reasons why it's like just the
Yeah.
weight of the violence just seems
Yeah.
real in this. And it's like, it's just cartoon characters. It's like, nope,
Mm.
these people are traveling through space. They're getting stabbed. Shit's going south pretty quick.
Yep.
No, it does a great job of how they know they're walking into a trap. They've got some hope, but they know they're in like a desperate situation. Like the whole way they set it up and explain it really well, like very simply too, because there's again just a great job of like distilling the story and the history, the things that needed to be there without overcomplicating things.
100% agree. Because in the book, the worst part about it for me was that I was always confused. They'd be dumping so much history of everything on you the entire time. I didn't know what to focus on. Like I didn't even know what the plot of the book was. Like, and I was just like, this is just I'm just reading individual words now. Like I don't understand what's happening. But I agree with this one. It's like, it makes it super easy to understand what they're doing, who's in charge, where the orders are coming from, you know, what the risks are, all this stuff. It's pretty clear
but
all the way.
it doesn't feel dumbed down at all. Even like, that's the kind of the really cool thing is I don't think it's not like they've tried to simplify it even. They've just been very careful and selective about what they say or what they explain. And that's really, I think that's just a kind of an amazing thing that they just streamlined it so much, but it doesn't feel like they decomplicated it or anything like that, or tried to make it simple and stupid or something.
Yeah.
No, but I even told someone that it was like, before I had a hard time understanding the first. When I saw the 1984 one, I was like, I don't understand what the fuck's going on. Plus, like Sting wasn't a great actor, so like if you you didn't like any of that, like if you were lost and you didn't like one of the actors, like it's a bum fucking movie, right?
Yeah.
But like
Who
this
did
was like
Sting play?
I don't remember, but he was in it.
He was Fade Rutha.
Yeah.
We haven't met him yet in this
But
movie.
either way, like this movie was so easy to watch because the acting was great.
Yeah.
And the scenery was great. And the CGI was great. And the sound was great. So like, you know, it's so modern. You know, it was hard to watch the 1984 one because I watched it in the 2000s. and you're looking back at it, and it was all shit, right? Compared to what we're used to.
Crappy special
So
effects.
like, yeah, right. So like now this thing was fucking great because it matched our time. And I mean, it was easy to watch. The story was easy to dissect. It was, war, right? Anybody could relate to it. They were talking about all sorts of things in metaphor, but like the metaphor was easy to understand, right? Because you could like place it to something. Oh, spice. It's almost like gas. I get that. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy, right? So, I really
DC
like
says gas. John says paprika. Okay.
Yeah,
See
well,
what you guys-
No, I
human,
didn't. I said nutmeg.
Oh, nutmeg.
whatever
Okay, sorry.
whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So I found it very easy to follow, which was, something I need as a nitwit. So it's
Something that's important to get
everybody.
$40 million.
Yeah, well, it was definitely engaging, and you didn't really. It wasn't as confusing as the first one was that I remember. I remember turning the first one off halfway through because I was like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. This is a stupid fucking movie. I'm over it. And then it didn't happen. I expected to be like somewhat remnant of that, like I'd be like, oh, I remember this. This sucks. But there was none of it, right? Like it was a totally different movie, and it was fucking, it was fantastic.
I'm glad you guys liked it so much. I was a little afraid.
Oh, yeah.
I walked out of the
Yeah.
theater, and the people I was with were blown away, but like some other people watched it on HBO, and they're like, I shut it off. It was too slow, or like, it was okay.
What?
And I'm like, what? Did we watch the same movie?
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Maybe
know, right?
Not watching it in a good setup or something, it might move slow. But no, I really thought it was great. I mean, I thought
The best parts were the special effects and the sound.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
gotta say,
no,
the visuals
the
and the sound.
imagery, and the scene composition, by far. That everything else is kind of gravy, and nothing got in the way of that, and that's great. I mean, I thought the acting was good too, and I still enjoyed the characters. I thought they did their jobs. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like having. Well, I like having Jason Momoa there. He may as well been Aquaman.
No, he was good.
right?
He
was good.
I've seen him in other stuff, and I don't
He was
really
badass.
like him, but
Oh,
I
really?
liked him
No.
in this. I was like, I
He was
believe him.
badass. Yeah.
He was doing like a rock-like character, just very likable, but tough
Yeah.
guy, but very likable,
But not
that's
cartoony at
actually.
all.
No, but really charismatic. I thought he was just great.
Yes.
I thought he's like that in Aquaman. He's great.
I've seen Aquaman. No, he's not, John.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
I thought he
seeing
was good.
Aquaman.
Anyway, it was good. Anyway, I thought he was fine in there. Anyway, Idaho in the book is not like that. Idaho in the book is more serious. So it's interesting that they took that turn with that character and made him so close. And again, that's just more of these warm moments, which I thought were really great that the book doesn't have so much. So you really get a sense of these characters caring for each other, and you feel really sad when he dies too.
The thing is what Villeneuve did, he was a writer. There were 3 writers, and he was one of them. He wrote this book when he was 12 years old, and he took the way he read the book, like the way he saw the world, and that's what he tried to do. So like
He tried to be from him as a 12-year-old.
So everything that he kind of added to the movie, when he was reading it, he put there himself, So it was kind of like Herbert plus Denis just combined.
Yeah, but also maybe more of a simplistic view. I think I don't know. Josh Brolin he just plays flat, the Gurney character.
Yeah, he wasn't very important, was he?
No, and Gurney in the book, he's like this musician, poet, warrior, spy. He just seems he seemed much more interesting in the book, and Brolin is just there as kind of like a military guy who says quotes some poetry now and then in a military serious way. So that was kind of, it's too bad. I thought I wanted to see something more interesting with Gurney as a character.
He had one of the only lines that made me cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
It was the one where like the Javier Bardem's character comes into the whatever.
Stilgar comes in. Yeah.
Stilgar comes in and he's talking to Duke Leto, and he doesn't say like sir or whatever, and Josh Brolin's you say sir, and you're like, no, he doesn't, dude. He's the king of the fucking people who live in the desert. He's the king of the
like,
right.
back off.
Well, the book,
I know.
The book doesn't, it's true, but the book sort of, all of these families are like, these are all royalty that are very much, there's very much a hierarchy. It's very, very much like important that you get called by your title.
I don't know
and
though,
so
dude.
forth.
Don't you think so I understand that, but I just think it's dumb that he would assume that the people who live in the freaking desert know what
would have
their,
that same
Right,
hierarchy.
right. They don't know what the words are or the protocols
There's
are.
that, but there's still like, they're sent there to rule over these people. And Gurney is a servant of the Duke. I mean, and very much, all about like making sure that.
So he should have said, "Hey, no problem this time, bud, because you didn't know. But next time, address him by sir.
Right.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Continue. Something like that. Come on, bro.
And in the book, it's fair. But it's still a good scene. And I thought Javier Bardem was good as Stilgar. I was worried he might be too weird.
Who is this?
Stilgar, Javier Bardem, the leader of the Freemen.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I still thought it was. I thought again.
You say Freeman?
The leader of the
Fremen?
emperor or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? You talking about the guy from Good Will Hunting? No.
No.
No, you're that's the Baron.
That's the Baron.
Stellan
Skarsgård
Skarsgård in a fat suit.
Yeah, Skarsgård. That's what I was.
That's the Baron.
Okay.
No, but the
yeah.
guy with the blue eyes that is like the guy who comes in from the Fremen towards the beginning to talk with him.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't in it much. He was just in that fight scene, basically.
Yeah, that's and he was there in that one point where he meets
Where
the
he
Duke
spits
and, then
and
walks
everyone's
out.
about to kill him, and he wasn't even scared.
I got a question for you, John. What is that thing where everyone spits into that little thing and then pours a little powder on top of it? What kind of drink does that make? They talk about that?
Well, that was just them, like, sitting around jibber jabbering.
Were they drinking their own spit? Is that all they were doing?
Yeah, well, they had a filter too. It was a filter. They would like filter through it. Probably cleaned it, and then they passed it around as like a.
It was like some kind of, I don't know.
Some kind of friend bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, guys, let's stop drinking each other's spit. We got to dig a hole in the ground.
Yeah, we
and
sit
attack
around in a
some dudes.
circle. We drink enough water to keep us.
You might
moving.
learn more about that in the second movie too.
You might get more out of it when
they
it's
play
other
more
people's
part.
spit,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're just drinking your own spit all day, it's no good when it's someone
It's already
else's
in there.
nutrients and shit. Yeah,
It's like,
Extra spit.
extra
We're
spit.
all the same tribe.
Different kind
We
of spit.
share the same
Oh,
water.
and it's a different kind of spit. It tastes different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it's where you've been. Anyway,
I loved it how this movie had little Denny moments as well, where it just does like the really nice cuts. Like only on the second time did I realize this, when they were in that under sand tent and they both like felt that their father, or that, Paul's father died, and then they were crying and hugging each other. And then it cuts to the tubing in the tent and the water filtering.
Right.
So it's
right.
So their tears are like being translated, and then
Like right away.
right away.
Yeah.
away.
It's just really
yeah.
nice. It's like, this is a human moment. Plus, we're in a sci-fi movie where the tent is filtering the tears into water so they can survive in the desert.
Yeah. That was
Pretty
good scene.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
He cut out.
Hell of an
from
idea.
the book, there's a lot that's cut out. I think, in sometimes in a good way. I mean, I think it would have been. You can't fit all of it in, but the book has this whole other component where the Baron plants some spies to make it so Duke Leto is suspicious, or they want Duke Leto to be suspicious of Jessica, as if Jessica could be the one who's going to be the betrayer. And there's this whole subplot where the Duke knows that she's not really the betrayer, but he's going to act like he thinks she may be and not tell her that he doesn't doubt her.
Does he know there's going to be a betrayer? I didn't pick up on that.
In the book, there's like a hint that somebody and the shout out Mapes tells after Paul saves her life from the Hunter Seeker, she tells him that there's a traitor amongst you. You've saved my life. I'm going to give you some knowledge, and that sort of sets things off in the book. But that doesn't happen in the movie so much. It's interesting. I didn't really like that subplot anyway, as it just sort of seemed like he wouldn't trust her, and he would not expect her to be able to act well enough, as highly trained as she is, even if they wanted to do a ruse. But and then, because then in the book there's this big moment in the tent where one of Leto's last messages to Paul is say, look, if anything happens to me, you tell her I never doubted her. And then there's a big emotional moment in the book there where Paul tells her that he never did doubt you. He never,
but he
it was
did
just
doubt
an
her.
act.
Right?
Yeah, well,
in the movie
he
did.
did. No, he
was like
didn't.
questioning her and shit. He's like, would the Benny Gesserit portion of you save
Right.
Paul?
Yeah,
No matter
right,
what?
right.
He was a little bit, but that was more like in terms
That was
of
more
just
of a
what
fatherly
is being
moment,
done.
right?
Yeah, it's not about
Yeah.
like he thinks she would betray him to the Harkonnens.
He was just saying,
that.
like, would you be a mom instead of a.
Right.
I like it how
There's
John
always
has
that
his own
component.
pronunciations because he's only ever read the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You were totally right.
Harkonnen.
Yeah.
It's
Harkonnens. I know.
Harkonnens.
I totally have a problem
That's
with
funny.
this because
Because you read the book and you
Yeah.
made up your own.
Yeah.
I have my own pronunciations. So now I get them all wrong.
That's how you know he's a
I
real
see.
fan, everyone.
Yeah.
Harkonnen.
That's right.
Okay.
And so
Freeman.
how do they start? Yeah, Freeman. I say instead of Fremen. And how do you say
Freeman,
Sardukar? Is Sardukar? How do they say Sadukar? I think they say it's a little different.
Which one's that?
That's the Emperor's shock troops that are there.
Those guys are scary.
That they're the There's that one scene where they're all like floating down.
Behind
Awesome.
them, like flanking them. Fuck you.
Yeah. That was amazing. Like quiet, just like floating down. Wow. I was
looking for like zip line things or something, but they just have like jetpacks or some shit like that.
anti-grav. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
But they leave that out. There's this whole, like, one of the very famous scenes from the book is this long dinner scene that before, after Leto gets there, they have a dinner with a bunch of
Cut
different,
it.
like,
I don't even
other
need to hear about it.
players.
Just cut it out of the movie.
Right.
It sounds terrible.
Right. It's just like a very politics thing, and there's all this interplaying going on. And yeah, it doesn't have to be in the movie. And again, there's just a lot of like really trimming that happened, I think, in a good way in terms of making the movie just move really well and not get overcomplicated, or they don't even bother explaining. Like there's what they called the Butlerian Jihad, which was at some point in the past, like machines had taken over, or people who supported the use of AI. There was this big war between those people and the people who thought it was a bad idea, or the machines did some really bad things. And so since then, they wouldn't allow computers to have consciousness and things like that. So that's why you had to have these navigators that would take the spice, and they would train people to be computers. That's what the mentats are. Like Thafar Hayat is a mentat when he like closes his eyes. These are people that are trained to sort of think like computers.
These seem like new words to me, TC. Do you know? Do these words ring bells
I think I
to you?
paid attention to any
see,
of the
they
words.
never, right. So there's none of
in
that.
one ear
right?
out the other.
Oh, so it's
But
not in the movie, is
there.
what you're saying.
It's not in the movie, but it's there. Like his advisor, Thafar, is like when you see his eyes go all milky,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like doing computations. These are people that have been trained to replace machines because thinking machines are not allowed anymore. But they don't bother to tell you any of this stuff. It's there. And if you know the books, it's there, but they're not going to sit there and try to bog you down with
All these
exposition
extra-
Thank
about
you.
this shit.
Because there's a
thank you very
lot to
much.
learn. There's a lot to remember in this. Yeah.
But so again,
As far as
it's
who's who.
artfully done that they're like still including this stuff. I don't think, I mean, reading the reports and stuff or reading the criticisms and stuff, the people who read the book and liked the book seem to really like the movie too, which I do as well. I'm not like, oh, they didn't do that or they didn't do that or they left that out. And no, I think it's like fantastic. It sort of like then complements the book really well.
I read the book, didn't like the book, and love the
Right.
movie.
There's that. You might like the book now.
I might.
because
I might now, yeah. Then I can just like put this imagery in my head as I read it.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because when you put the other movie's imagery in it, boy, I'll tell you, not so great.
Kyle MacLachlan's on camera again, everyone.
Ah, what's up with this weird head? Yeah.
There's like some big floating, like organic looking thing
Yeah.
that I don't even know what that
I
is
don't
when
know
they
what
show the
that thing is.
navigators in the movie. Yeah.
Hey, and all of a sudden
In
it's
the first
Sting.
movie.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
Dude, I hope they cast that same character as Sting again just to get you.
Just
You're
to piss me
"No,
off.
Sting.
No,
not
I
Sting
quit.
again."
Storm out of the theater.
He was all there. Like he was really built well too. Sting was there. He had his shirt off the whole time too. He was
Oh, shirtless
Makes sense.
Sting.
Pretty-
Might need to
Yeah,
put that
makes
on.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep. He was pretty good looking.
But not a good actor, apparently.
No, no. He should stick to music.
He went
He's
from
just not an
Dune
actor.
to Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. That's kind of a downgrade.
He was fine in Lock and Stock.
okay.
Lock, Stock with it.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't
Not much
understand what
asked.
anybody was saying anyway.
Yeah.
So all he had to do was like mumble.
Oh, speaking of that, did you guys have a hard time hearing some of the dialogue in this movie?
A little bit, but I had it
Little
up
bit?
way loud. So,
Well, so I saw it in the IMAX, and like, I don't know if it was, I wouldn't
Oh.
ask for different audio. I think sometimes the low frequency stuff like washed out other things.
Mm.
Kind of, there were a couple lines where the soundtrack like just drowned out the vocals. And it's less of an issue when I watched it on my TV. Like, for example, what Lady Jessica whispers to herself when there's a loud soundtrack going on, when the Gunja bar is like to her son's
when
neck and he's feeling the pain and stuff.
she's doing the litany of fear.
Yeah, like that's
I
the
love
most
the litany of fear.
right. That's like the most famous line in the movie, and I couldn't
Yep.
hear it in the theater.
Ah.
It's like, what is
But
it?
it
Fear,
doesn't-
fear is the mind killer. Is the,
Oh, yeah, I've got the
Well,
note
she does
here
it
for that. I
twice.
can read it. to
yeah.
you.
I couldn't hear it at
Yeah.
all. I didn't know what
she
she was
does it
saying.
twice, right? So when you miss it the first time, you actually see it. You hear it again when she's in
Yep.
the.
in the
Uh,
plane.
in
Would
the
you
plane.
like to
Right.
hear the litany?
So
I
I
couldn't hear it
think
then
it
either.
really-
I couldn't hear it then
oh, you
either.
couldn't hear it
all
then
the little
either?
particles of sound, I wouldn't give it up for the world because like the particles of sound
Yeah.
in the 12 channel
Were
system they
crazy.
had there, it was
Yeah.
insane. It was like the
Yeah.
best.
No, and
Action
you're still
sound.
like it's and you're getting the tension of the moment there, and
Right.
it doesn't necessarily matter what she's saying. You know she's doing this chant. It's kind
At
of,
the
she's
first
like-
one, I don't think it matters. In the second one, you get a reprieve and you get to hear it again. You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I understand now what the first one was because it's the same mumbling.
It's her Serenity Now. That's her equivalent.
Exactly.
I know, but it's
God
yeah, it's
grant me the
actually
serenity.
we might
Serenity now.
we do that in our my daughter and I do the litany, a simplified version of it because
From
it's-
Dune.
Yeah, because it's really nice when she's scared And for some reason, for quite a while, she would like
You're
lay awake.
such a nerd, John.
I know, but it's great. The message is really great. It's like it's just a dude. She gets scared sometimes at night. And she gets scared of dying. She gets scared of death.
Yeah. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Welcome to life.
Right? But you know, once I get over you're 7. You shouldn't worry about that yet. You're okay.
To be go play.
Yeah, worry about if Santa Claus is going to bring you what you want. I don't know. Don't sit there and worry about dying. Anyway, but the message is great, and we just simplify it to it's like, I will not fear. I'll face my fear. I'll let my fear pass through me, and when I turn, the fear will be gone, and only I will remain. So just simplifying this idea that fear is just this feeling, and you can face it, and you can go past it. That it's just this emotion that you can just watch leave you. And that message is really cool. And it works really well with her. Like, that's something we do once in a while when
like
she still
shit
has
therapists tell you, man. That's like legit advice
Well,
right there.
I mean, he is a therapist. It was,
Yeah, it was.
You
I'm retired.
What are you gonna do?
But yeah.
Old habits die hard.
Makeup stuff. Yeah.
You can't control your emotions, John, but you can control how you react to them, huh? Is that something that they would say?
There you go.
Nice.
Ooh,
There you
that's
go.
very good. Yes.
Give me my PhD, damn it.
That's right. Anyway, but I've always sort of liked that was something from the book. I thought the book it's more detailed and fears the little death, and it's weirder, but it still has that same message.
There were other lines, and I actually, right before this too, I popped it on again because there were a couple things I had questions on, and I wanted to get the dialogue, so I turned on the captions on HBO and got a couple of lines. So that was one of them.
Okay.
There was a part towards the end where they're walking through the desert, and he steps on like a metal plate in the desert, and he says, "It's drum sand." And then the worm starts chasing. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? At first I couldn't hear it, and now I have no idea what he's talking about.
Drum sand is like compacted sand that when you step on it, it makes a booming noise.
How does that work?
I don't know. The sand does that. I don't know.
Does it really?
So it's like a harder sand, so it makes more noise.
Honestly, I don't know if there's actually something like that, but it certainly serves a dramatic purpose.
Well, also, if he knew what drum sand was, why is he still stomping on it? Those fucking worms love it.
Yeah,
you should have.
Well,
he did do it a few more times than he should have if he knew it was going to be loud.
Tap, tap.
Yep, still drum sand. Boom, boom. Hey, listen to this rhythm.
Run!
But yeah, I'm not really complaining because that leads to like one of the coolest. I don't know. The sandworms in this movie are crazy. You can kind of tell they're CG, but they look amazing. And what you can't tell is CG is the sand. That sand is CG.
Wow,
so it's real landscape. So they filmed it in a couple of different deserts in the Middle East.
Wow.
But the sand moving is completely CG. They planned on initially doing it with explosives in the desert, but then trying to like figure out how they would do it, figured out it would be not only extremely difficult, but very dangerous and might not look good.
I mean, they didn't have the technology so much when they did the Star Wars desert scenes, when they did like the Sarlacc pit and everything, and that went to shit, right?
Yeah.
They had the whole set sinking. So it's like, probably if you can do it without being in the desert, it's
probably the best way to do it.
But they were in the desert. All those landscapes and the people in the desert, they really went.
They're still shooting out there.
Yeah. But they just really integrated the CG somehow. It looks so good.
It does, yeah.
The part where like the sandworm turns to go away when it's like up in the air and like all the sand like splashes like water against the rock.
Yeah. Oh, the other scene that was amazing is I love the ornithopters, the dragonflies. Those were so cool looking the way they did that.
What a cool way to make like a helicopter.
Thopter.
Yeah.
Thopter, right?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
No, ornithopter. I think that's the full name. But
I think
I'm not
he
sure.
says. I think.
Oh,
I think it's the full name.
They call him I'm looking it up here. John's right. Okay. I retract. See?
He only read the book, Denny.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And he pronounced it right.
Sorry,
Look at that.
Believe him already. Trust him. He read the fucking book.
Right. But that scene where they're fighting the storm was really good, really intense. I really also was impressed by that when they're like, you're in an aircraft and you're about to crash kind of scene. I thought that was really well done too.
They showed the shot from inside when it hit the sand and it's like going through the sand. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And it wasn't like
they showed their hair the way. I don't think I've seen that. I'm sure it's been in another movie, but the way their hair flies up because they're like spinning or falling so quickly, and I don't think I've seen. I'm sure it's been in other movies.
That was in the Babadook, wasn't it? That's the most recent movie we watched.
That's right. Fair enough. But no plane crashes in the Babadook. But yeah, just things stuck to the ceiling.
Just a car flying through the air.
Oh, was there a hair in the Babadook?
She gets smashed by a car and it rolls around and it's a shot of her face and her hair is like whipping around and shit.
But not like that. That like anti-gravity look, like you're just like, whoosh. I don't know.
You ever seen Apollo
John.
13,
Yes.
John? Come on. Apollo 13.
Anyway, I just thought it was well done.
I agree. And I love it how at the end of that scene, in a shittier movie, with a shittier movie maker doing it, you would have like triumphant, like, ba, 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 and then get out and it'd be like,
right.
oh. But all it was when they crashed to the ground, there was no music at all. And you just hear them like unbuckle their seatbelts and smack into the ground and crunch into the sand.
You know, that is a really good point that this movie has none of that celebration of victory sort of thing in it at all.
It kind of does. There's two scenes with that one bagpipe track where they're entering Arrakis first, and the literal bagpiper. I laughed at that. I was like, "This is kind of silly." When the guy walks out,
but that's just like ceremony. That's nothing. It's
but
not
when
like
they're
they've done
attacking,
anything.
when the town's getting bombed, that kicks on too. When Josh Brolin's like, "Get him" or something, and they start running.
That was a good. That was good though.
I like it.
But that wasn't like celebratory either. That was a little bit actiony, I guess. But I think I just don't notice this sort of like, "Yay, we did it!" kind of thing.
Because they don't. The whole movie is just them failing over and over again. It's a very dark. Not very hopeful story.
Well, and even like you're seeing the preludes of this. He's terrified of succeeding. He's terrified of what he might become and the power he might have. So even if that all works out, he's not going to be too happy about it. So you already have this sense of.
I have questions about that,
out.
but I don't want you to answer them, John, because I feel like they're going to be answered. But I just want to say that when he's freaking out in the tent, he's just like, they're cheering my name, and he's like yelling at his mom. I was like, why is he so upset about this? Right? He's going to get the girl. He's going to be the leader. He can see it already.
He's just scared how fucked up he is.
It's another.
Seemed like
I don't want John to really answer that question. Yeah,
no, but I do think that it's already you're getting this sense of like, oh, he's not going to be some happy hero here, even in the long run. That's not where this is going.
No, he's still a beautiful boy,
right?
He's still in the seat.
It's Timothy Chalamet, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, he's just getting sober. He's just getting sober for this, so he's still dark. He really doesn't have much happiness in him. This whole movie,
kind of an emo kind of character.
He's great. He's got a good smirk to him. I liked how he did it. I liked him. I thought he did a good job there, not being too like whiny or pouty seeming either.
No, he was all right. He was good.
Yeah.
I really thought he was good. And I really liked that scene where that little thing comes in his room, like it burns through the wall, and it's like a little mosquito.
How he hides?
Kills him.
How he hides in the hologram?
Hides in the hologram. That was
really
fucking
cool.
great.
Yeah.
And then the thing comes and almost
It's
gets
like
him
right
in the
at eye level with him. That's a great scene.
Here's a question.
Just like sitting
so
there.
that scene where it flies really fast towards his eye and stops. Is that supposed to be his perspective and it's all slow motion?
No,
or
it's him in the mind
actually
stopping it. He stops it with his mind, like he does with the people when he makes them move over. Like, come here, right?
He can stop
it's all that
robots with
practice. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was how it was him using his power that he wasn't aware of really yet. That's what I took it to be.
It's interesting. I just thought
I could buy
he was
that.
using.
I
I
had
thought
no
he
idea
was
what
using the
was going on.
hologram
Because it was the
to
first
confuse
part. It was the first thing that he did with his mind, and it was small, and he started to build it gradually.
So that thing
That's
was
interesting.
controlled by the person in the wall. So maybe did he sense? Was that in the book? I remember that being in the book, kind of where he sensed the person in the wall.
Right. In the book, the book gets more straightforward. What he does, it's the shout out mapes opens the door, and this happens kind of in the movie, but you don't have this like he's staring at it part. So when the housekeeper opens the door, then the hunter seeker goes after her and he snatches it out of the air. That's kind of what happens in the movie, although it happens pretty quick and you don't quite see it. But
doesn't
you don't
come into
have
the room.
this.
He's all by himself.
She opens the door.
Opens the door. I thought that's when it broke his concentration, and that's why.
Oh, well, it was more like
Because he went out of the way from it, and then it went towards her, and he's like, shit.
Right. And in the book, it's just like they're attracted to movement. So he had to stand still and not move.
Okay. Maybe that's all it was.
And then when the door moves, it goes
It
right
went
after
towards the movement, which was,
Yeah.
I see.
So it was just a
I
complete
see.
coincidence, the fact that it zipped
It
through the
stopped.
room and stopped right in front of his eyeball.
Yeah,
That was just,
I don't know. I thought it was just they thought this will be really dramatic. Let's just.
It was just
well,
confusing.
kind of
I still don't
I'm
understand.
going
it.
with my
I like
thing. It
TCs.
seemed,
I like yours,
more
TC.
cool.
I think that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I thought the only thing
Yeah.
I came up with is like, all right, so we're in his perspective and he's doing like a Matrix thing where it's like,
Oh, it's going to slow down because he's
Yeah.
thinking about it.
and I was like, but they didn't really edit it that way. What the fuck is going on right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
It's like a John Wick Matrix moment.
Mhm. He has all the time in the world to
He's
grab
like, I
that little
remember
thing.
Keanu. Do you remember Keanu? And the thing
Maybe
like stops.
Keanu will be that guy, John. What if they
Yeah.
cast Keanu in the second one? Would you be happy or sad?
I don't care. He'll be fine. He'll be all right.
What if Nicolas Cage is in there, John? What would you think?
He'll be fine.
Nicolas Cage is the Emperor.
The Emperor. All right.
That would be
that
funny.
might be funny.
That
Yeah.
would be funny, actually. I love that they acted like they weren't already having a fucking episode 2.
They weren't.
Oh, come on,
That's what
bullshit.
everyone
They
saw.
wrote it. They edited it that way. They edited it opening so they could
'Cause they
totally
wanted
have a
to.
season. Yeah, come on, bullshit.
But they didn't have the money. It was the same kind of deal they had
I don't
with
buy it.
It's I mean, yeah,
I don't buy it.
I
I
feel
don't buy it.
your
I don't buy it. The
it wasn't
studio was-
written.
The
It wasn't
studio,
written.
it's not written, but it doesn't matter. The studio knew it was going to go into number 2. Come on.
If it
fuck
did
outta
tease,
here.
here's the only counterpoint I have to that is if they knew it was going to go to part 2, why didn't they film it at the same time like Lord of the Rings? They would have saved
Because
money.
you can't. You can only do so much at once.
No, you can do Lord of the Rings. They filmed all 3 at the same time.
At least the scuttlebutt was after Blade Runner. There wasn't certainty that this would do well, and Blade Runner didn't do so hot. And so I thought that because of that, plus the pandemic in the movie industry, there was just
It had nothing to do with the
hesitancy.
pandemic because this was ready to go before the pandemic started.
Well, no, but I mean in terms of were they ready to commit to a second film? I don't. Well, maybe not then, but I don't know.
I mean, there's
Maybe
a
they did.
million reasons why they didn't have it all ready
According
to go.
to Denny and the studios and anyone who talks about it, the deal that was hatched was Denny did not want the studios to edit down what he wanted to do. He did not want, because what happened with
Makes sense.
David Lynch was that he had a 3-hour plus cut of Dune, and the studio took it and cut it down to nearly 2 hours, and it ruined the movie. It didn't do well.
Right.
Lynch was like, it's a terrible fucking experience. I hate the studios. Fuck everyone in the studios. So, Denny
makes
didn't want
sense.
that to happen because he, similarly loves the book and knew that it would take more than 2.5 hours to do the whole thing correctly.
Yeah.
So he kind of, he was betting on himself, which is a great bet. I'll bet on Denny any day of the week. But he wrote, the contract was to allow him to do half of the book in the first movie. They didn't say what the value was, but it would have to do well. They weren't going to greenlight the second one until the first one did well. And I guarantee, TC, that if this movie only made $5 million, they wouldn't do the second one.
I don't buy it.
I mean, there'd be no reason for them to do it. It cost $165 million.
It was
Make this
always
movie.
going to do well. I'm sure once they got the end of that cut and watched it, the guys were like, sign it up, boys.
Yeah,
And there's no way. There's no way. Like, because I watched that fucking thing and liked it, and I'm me, I hate everything. But
So to John's point too, so when they had so they finished filming in 2019, but they were supposed to be released in October 2020. So I'm sure they were working on the special effects and the edit and the sound.
I'm
for,
sure, yeah.
Like
that
after during
happens.
2020.
I know that within the studio that shit happens where like once the stuff starts getting put together, everyone's like, fuck it, sign the next one.
Well, but then the pandemic is there. Then the pandemic is there.
pandemic
You
was
can
there,
also
right,
imagine
right,
though
right.
that there's some extent of like, yeah, we're probably going to do this, but let's get some more
Let's
people
tease
out
it.
by
Let's
telling
tease it a
people,
little
bit.
hey,
But they
you better
edited
go
it.
see this or we won't make another one. You better get out
You better
there.
fucking see it in the theaters. Otherwise, we're not going to give you a second one, which is what they were
But it was
doing.
edited so obviously that they were going to have a second one.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I mean,
in the beginning,
there was,
it says part 1, and at the end, what's her name says,
Right.
Zendaya says, this is just the beginning. You're like, if you don't give me a second one, I'm punching
second one,
somebody in the
there's
face.
no way. Right. I mean, they wrote it. They edited, come on. It was always
fair.
going to have a second one.
That's probably
But,
so.
yeah.
I'm sure maybe it was not
It's
as
good
precarious
business.
as people
It's good
may have
business
you
though to
believe.
make people think that you're not.
They
gonna
scared
have
them into buying tickets like me. I literally went to the theater because I was like, I have to buy a ticket. There has to be a second one. There has
Right.
to be. So
Right, there has
they
to.
guilted me into it. I haven't been to the theater in 2 years because of this
Yep.
goddamn pandemic, but I went. And now they can, they wait a couple days. They show off how much money they made, which is a lot. And then they
I
can
bet.
say, there's a second one coming. And then there's all these
And
news
that
stories.
creates hype.
Right. And everyone's
Yeah,
like, oh shit,
right.
I can invest myself now. It's totally worth investing in.
There's a lot
100%.
of good things there, and you can say, and people can really feel like they're attached to the product too. Like we did
Oh,
this,
yeah.
we made
Right.
it
Yeah,
happen.
I do. As
Yep.
weird as that is.
Yep.
I feel proud of
And then,
myself.
and
It's
then the
fine.
asshole like me is over there being like, "You're all idiots. It was always going to be a second.
It's all a scam, don't you see? Wow. That shield
shit.
fighting though, that was also awesome. The way he did the shield.
Yes, I liked that. I liked that.
And when his dad gets hit with the dart and you see he's like trying to reach for it and it's slowly going through his shield. That was intense. The way
Is that
they
a little
did that.
homing dart? A little honing dart?
Was it
Yeah,
the same
well,
thing
yeah.
from the?
It's just like it's a gun. It's like a
Oh, right,
like,
With
right,
the
like
bullet,
a-
don't you think
exactly.
like if it was a bullet, it would like hit the shield and stop? This thing was like kept
No,
trying
it's
to
like
like
drilling in.
It has
yeah.
it has momentum behind it because it's designed to go through a shield. You have to get through a shield. You have to move slowly and forcefully. That's kind of the whole way.
Or
like,
have it be super thin, right? Like those those little knives
the one
they had
piece
that
of
was
exposition
really
that
thin.
seemed a little out of place was that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You didn't
It's
have
like, don't
to
you
say
think
it.
that Paul would already
They
know this?
showed it.
Why are you telling us this? He's used the shield before.
Right. And they showed you. They showed you how like he would hit the knife fast and then slow on his hand.
I
and it
would
went
have been
red.
confused, I think,
You would
if
have.
they
So you
didn't
need to
speak
know.
it. Yeah.
So way to go,
True.
Brolin.
It was obvious
Brolin's
exposition,
like-
but I appreciated it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Brolin. I got to say the obvious thing, don't I? Yeah, you do. Probably there's
Yeah, you
somebody
do.
in there that's going to
Yeah,
be
you
like,
do.
what the fuck is this? Anyway, but I thought it looked really cool and tense the way they would do that with that slow, the bullet slowly coming at you.
It made it
like-
R-rated, in my opinion. You always like
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is just slicing dudes' heads.
That's true.
You tell him, Denny.
Come on, rated R.
Sit down with that
Come
ratings
on,
team
Momo.
later and say, what the hell did you guys think you were doing?
And I don't know. There were no boobs.
Yeah.
Come on.
You got a
That
naked.
was the thing, too.
on.
No nudity, right?
You got the side butt from Oscar Isaac in there.
Oh, you do? Oh, that scene was amazing. That also was amazing.
That
the
was
way they
scary.
had it.
That
It
scene
was
was
scary, but just the composition of it was really amazing.
Oh, that was
Like,
another scene I had to turn the subtitles on. Do you know what he says before he dies?
No.
Here I am, here I remain.
I think that might be the Atreides motto or something that's on their crest, something like that. It's actually from the book. It's something he says at the dinner, and he just like makes this toast in front of the people and just says, "Here I am, and here I remain." That's where it's at in the book.
What do you think that black soup that the Baron sits in tastes like?
I don't know. Oil?
It's like
That's
soy
weird.
sauce and pig fat in there? What is that?
Right. So somehow like Rabin's there talking, Batista's there talking to him like you can hear through that sludge. Like God, like somebody's going to hear you when you're.
Well, they can all
under
talk
soup.
through their heads, right? You could probably hear
Oh,
them.
maybe so. I guess. But yeah.
That shot is going to become a meme, no question. The guy
Yeah,
sitting in
probably.
that friggin' black goo. It was so gross. That makeup was so good. You look like a fat guy.
Well, I mean, not only that, just misshapen, like disfigured too. He wasn't just like fat and ugly. He, unlike the first film, he was just odd, like tortured looking, and the way he was played, it's just creepy. It was again,
Yeah, and there was that one
a
shot
really
where
good villain.
if the movie was worse than it is, that's that one shot of him approaching the doctor guy before he kills the doctor, and it's like he's just on a platform and he goes like from the left-hand side of the screen to like slowly down and to the right towards the center, and it's just his belly comes into frame first.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
not moving, and I was like, if this wasn't so scary, this might be stupid.
That's fair. Like boop.
Yeah.
His belly bumps his
Here I
nose.
come.
Here's my belly.
I love it too how like when they show his feet going over the table, like he has a lot of powers, but he's also kind of lazy. Like his feet hit the table and just drag. He doesn't
Yeah.
aim to get over the table. Good touch.
Okay, he's
Or
just
he
a
may not have
fucking
much,
lazy
or he's
fat
just like
fuck.
Yeah.
he doesn't have
Yeah.
use of his limbs, right? Like there's some. It almost looks like it's not just that he's fat. Like there's like some disfigurement there or something that's happened, or some disease even.
Too many wings.
Yeah,
That scene from Return of the King when he's eating there was a lot of shots in this movie that reminded me of other movies, but it also made me think maybe Dune was the reason that all of these other things happened.
True.
So, all right. So you want a list of these things that I came up with? First
Sure.
of all, that shot of the Baron, the first scene with the Baron when he's in the shower, and there's a top-down shot of him rubbing his bald head with his hand, kind of pulling the swet down, straight
Yeah.
out of Apocalypse Now. I think you could
Oh,
back
right,
to
right.
back those of Marlon Brando towards the end. At the beginning
Oh,
of
that
his
would be
scenes.
that'd make for a nice comparison. Yeah,
I will.
you're right.
I'll try to figure that out. The planes reminded me of the Castle in the Sky planes. They fly dragonflies and Castle in the Sky,
You're right.
Oh, did they really?
but they must have
Oh,
taken it
shit.
from the book because that's how they describe it in the book.
the
right,
book,
John?
the books are described as like insects. Yeah, as like that they have multiple wings. So yeah, you're right though. But it doesn't. I mean, they're like the Castle in the Sky things, but these are like so differently realized and so more like mechanical and cool looking. You're right, but I didn't make like a comparison there.
Some of the wall textures were similar to the corridor to the alien communication zone in Arrival. It was like stone, but horizontal lines at different.
Oh yeah,
different.
yeah.
Whoever designed that must have just been brought on to do some of the set design again.
Well, it's definitely like too when Duncan's ship comes in when he's coming back from his patrol, and you're in this hangar scene, and that totally has a Star Wars feel of the
Oh, yeah.
X-wings
Tons
coming
of
into the
Star
hangar,
Wars.
and yeah.
Star Wars just ripped off this whole story. I mean, you got the
Well,
kid who's
little
like
bit.
he's royalty and he's kind of emo and he has to travel to different planets to like save a princess.
And he's
basically.
got terrible power that you need to be worried about.
The Jedi power is the mind reading. He can tell people what to do with his voice.
Yeah.
He can read thoughts. Some people can float. There's like a dark side and a light side. Baron's basically Jabba the Hutt. The Emperor is the Emperor in Star Wars, right? There's like just a 1-to-1 thing there. It's a desert planet like in Star Wars.
Like Tatooine?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
and there's sandworms. There's a sandworm
influence.
in the second one, briefly, when they go inside the sandworm. And then there's also the Sarlacc pit, which looks like kind of like this one.
The worm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Everybody steals from everybody. It's okay.
And you can tell. So this movie also includes, like the first Star Wars didn't include any of the politics stuff. This movie, Dune, has politics in it. And George Lucas's later Star Wars movies had politics in it and failed. But this movie has all of it.
Yeah.
It's got the action and the politics and the
It
religion.
does, but again, I don't know. That's what I think is the real triumph here. I mean, other than the way it looks, like I was trying to say earlier, they didn't make it less complex, but they kept it all in there, but they didn't hit you over the head with any of it hardly, to where they had to sit there and explain things to you. That's pretty, again, amazing.
Agreed. I have 2 questions on this movie. 2 questions, then we can get into some trivia. What do you think?
Okay.
Sure.
What do you got?
How did Jason Momoa find them so quickly? They got out of the tent in the sand, and then literally as they're crawling out of the hole in the ground, Jason Momoa's character, whatever his movie character's name is, zips overhead and turns around and lands and picks them up.
True. How did he know they were there?
Yeah. I have to assume the desert's a huge place.
He just got lucky?
Well,
Figured they'd be walking towards, or is it because they could see it from before, right? In the dream or some shit?
Maybe. I guess their ship that they were on is somewhere close, right?
It's not too far.
Yeah,
they had
that's
been
a good point.
running
I
away.
forgot that they got off a ship for that part. You didn't see it when he was picking them up, but maybe he was like circling around the ship.
Yeah.
True.
Okay.
And he
never
also
mind.
kind of knew from, maybe he was tuned into what the kid was tuned into by then. I don't know.
Maybe.
With the spice.
Sending him signals or something.
Right.
The only other one, it's not so much a question. I was just slightly confused. There was the scene when all the ships were rising out of the water when they were on Caladan, and it's Paul on the ground watching all the ships fly away. And it hard cuts to Paul getting off a ship on Arrakis. Didn't he just watch all the ships fly away?
He didn't watch all of them. That was just some of them.
Oh, he was watching the beginnings from the outside, and then they cut away the part where he got on the ship, and they just, okay.
Yeah. So
that's what I figured. I was just slightly confused. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought he was not going, but he is going? Okay, he's going.
He's going. Like, oh, we forgot Paul. Shit, turn around. It's going to cost a lot of money.
John, do you have any non-spoiler stuff you wanted to go over? Any additional stuff from the book?
I've got notes in the book. I can check. I might not have anything because we interleaved it in.
I can do some trivia stuff if you want.
Okay. I can look at my notes here, and if I find anything else, then I think Liet Kynes was a man in the book, so I thought it was really cool casting her as a woman.
Huh.
Not everyone online would agree with you there, John. Don't read the reviews on Metacritic.
Really?
Sure.
Jesus Christ, who cares, right?
People are idiots on the internet.
But and again, there was another
That's the
thing.
truth.
Yeah.
Another thing in the book was sort of like silly almost, was that the Fremen were like saying Liet knows the ways. They would talk about this Liet character, and in the book they always refer to the judge of the change as Kynes, and nobody knows the judge's first name for some reason, which is really, because there's this mysterious, who's this Liet character that the Fremen keep talking about? Because for some unknown reason, nobody ever gets the first name of this
Cosmo.
person. Until I
got 2 Seinfeld references.
Until it's like a revelation.
Yeah. It's Cosmo Kramer.
So
Hey,
again,
Cosmo!
Cosmo!
Hey, Liet! Hey, Liet!
Liet, it's Liet. Anyway, so it was just another nice thing that the book's like, or the movie's like, we don't need this. You don't have to like come up with this like, ooh, who's this mysterious Liet? Oh, it's this person that we should have known their first name. But that was another thing that was interesting. Why would anybody give a shit about that? But anyway, about whether it's a male or female there, I just thought it was a good surprise.
People are sexist fucks, John.
I guess.
You guess.
You gotta have a man leader, do ya?
You want me to go through some of my trivia?
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah,
I'll see what I've got here. I'll just interrupt you.
So Hans Zimmer did the score to this. He was offered to score the movie Tenet with Christopher Nolan,
Yes.
who he's worked with a bunch, but he turned it down because this was also offered to him, and he's a huge Dune fan. It was like something that he's wanted to do forever.
Right, you know who else is a huge Dune fan? Is Grimes. Her
Fuck
first
Grimes.
album, I know, but her first album, hey, we like.
I used to
we saw
love Grimes. She's
together.
such a
I know.
fucking idiot now. God damn it. She
Yeah,
had to go
I
have
know.
a kid with fucking Elon Musk.
That's
What the
money
hell?
does to you. But her first album was all about Dune. Like every song was something.
Oh, she used to be
Dune,
so
her
cool
very
like
first
10
album.
years ago. Damn it.
I know. Anyway,
Anyway.
carry on.
So yeah, I mean, he wasn't also, you know, who also is a huge fan is Denis Villeneuve.
Yes, you
Villeneuve.
said.
I said, yeah, this is the movie that he's been wanting to make since he became a director. This was the one movie he wanted to make. And that's why he says now he used Arrival and Blade Runner 2049 as a template to prove that he could, to himself, that he like had the talent to make Dune, because it's like what he's always
It's like
wanted to do.
this was practice.
Yeah. They spent a year in pre-production on the sandworm design. A
Ooh.
long time.
I thought that is a long time because I don't know if in terms of it's just how it's implemented, because it's kind of a known thing, like how it generally it's going to look. It's not like they did
They
something
came up with
wildly
like
unexpected.
lore, apparently the information they have on it, and it might come out more in the second one, but they came up with like how it would work physiologically. Like how does its body work? Where do the parts go on the inside, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they
They've
spent a
got,
lot of time doing that.
Worm anatomy.
Yeah. Did it look the exact same? I've never seen the old Dune. Did it look pretty similar in the old Dune?
Yeah, I think so. And I didn't know. I don't remember the David Lynch film, but I even remember like the book covers and the way it's described. There's kind of a pretty good description of him, you know, with the big, huge, gaping mouth and the teeth spiraling inside, sort of.
So they filmed all the Arrakis shots in Jordan and Abu Dhabi. Kaladin was Norway. Denis did not like the HBO dual release. He thought it was like the death sentence for the movie. He had nothing to do with it.
He wrote. Did you read the article that he wrote in Variety?
I read some highlights from it, not the whole thing.
So I mean, he's like, and again, I can see what he's like goes after. He's like, this is all just to bail out AT&T because they're in debt, and AT&T apparently is the parent company owning HBO and the like, and just saying this is just ridiculous that they're just trying to salvage their streaming service, and that they're going to take money away from the movie theaters to do this. But he wrote this back in December 10th, 2020. So he's like, well, people tell us things should be normal by next fall, and they're still not fucking normal. So I'm not going out. If I didn't have kids, I could do it, I think. But he says, Dune is by far the best movie I've ever made, and my team and I are devoted more than 3 years of lives to make it a unique big screen experience, and our movie's image and sound were meticulously designed to be seen in theaters. And he says, I strongly believe the future of cinema will be on the big screen no matter what any Wall Street dilettante says. Since the dawn of time, humans have deeply needed communal storytelling experiences. Cinema on the big screen is more than a business. It's an art form that brings people together, celebrating humanity, enhancing our empathy for one another. It's one of the
Shut up, TC. It's
you
true.
know what I think about
Artistic
this statement.
in-person collective experiences we share as human beings.
I agree.
Up their own ass.
I agree. Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Denny.
I'm sorry. He just, again, I'll try one more here. Come on, TZ, hold your breath. The
I
movie-going
can't.
experience is like no other. In those darkened theaters, films capture our history, educate us, fuel our imagination, and lift and inspire our collective spirit. It is our legacy.
Wow.
Anyway. And then he ends with a long live theatrical cinema exclamation.
Yay.
You can read that online. It's just, he just penned it. It's pretty short. For Variety, December 10th, 2020. I hate to disagree with Denny. I'm very glad that I was able to see this and not have to wait.
Exactly.
You know, I see his point, but I still really wanted to watch it.
I think
and
it's
wasn't
fun to have
ready
both
do that.
agree with
available.
Denny or Denis?
Denis.
Old DV.
Old DV?
Can I just call him DV?
DV?
Or, you know,
Mr.
DV?
Mr. V?
Mr. V? Because I won't say his name correctly.
No, that's true.
I'll try, but I won't.
I've tried 100 times probably on this podcast, and I've probably failed each time.
Yeah.
They used the Arri Alexa LF camera.
Ooh.
It's a digital camera, and they took all that footage and they transferred it to 35 millimeter film and then transferred it back to digital.
Very cool. It's like the old, it's like, we had that idea and then we just never got to it.
Yeah.
Because it's a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's a lot of work.
You do the mix and then you put it to the tape and then you take the tape recording and bring it back in. And it's like, fuck this. Let's just export this thing.
Guess how much the camera costs? The camera that made this movie.
$20,000.
It's $98,000.
Jesus.
Wow.
Doesn't seem like that much for like a $165
What? Really?
$165 million movie.
Really?
That's a drop in the
that's not a
bucket
lot
for the
a
camera. It's the most important piece of thing
It
that
is
you
the
have.
most important thing.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It still seems like an awful lot of money for any piece of equipment.
But they used to have to like and they still might do this, I don't know, but they used to have to rent cameras from people who own the cameras. There was like a separate business for cameras, and the studios would just rent them for the time. But for $100,000, I'm sure the studios can just buy these cameras now and just give them to the people and not have to
Studios
rent
don't
them
do
out.
that. Studios don't do that.
They still rent them out?
Hey, why would you do that? Because you're gonna fucking have to take care of it. Like that, they just pay the vendor that does all that work. Wouldn't do that.
That's
right?
right.
The studio's not gonna do that.
Maybe then too, like if somebody drops
Yeah,
it. or
the
whatever,
more
they
you
just-
have it
it's
in
like
house,
just-
the worse
You
the
get the
fucking
insurance.
worse it's gonna get.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? At least when you have it at the vendor that does that for a living.
Right, and somebody
It
knocks
comes
it off
out-
the
comes
coffee
after-
table.
yeah, it
they
comes out
just got
perfect
another
every
one
time.
ready.
Yeah, whatever
Okay,
you
I
get
guess
from
they're still
them is
doing
trusted.
it.
Yeah.
Still doing it.
Everything's outsourced. There's nothing. But that's the ecosystem. That's what keeps everybody in a job, right? Like the camera guys are the camera guys. The people that rent the cameras are the ones that rent the cameras. That's like their whole bread and butter, right? So they have the
Yeah.
best people that are maintaining them. They got the maintenance that keeps up with it. They get brand new ones. Right, but if the studio did it, it'd be a nightmare. You get a fucking camera with sand in the lens still. You know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of jamokes like me working there. Be like, I think it looks good to me. I don't know. It's just guy's a sound guy. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna. It's studios. Don't let the studios do anything.
That's very, very good point. I sound like my 2 minute ago self is an idiot. Yes. The last piece of trivia I have is that Roger Deakins was lined up to do the cinematography on this movie, and then he dropped out.
Why?
I don't know, but he did.
What else was Deakins one who'd worked with DV before, or like he was? Who is he?
He did Prisoners at the very least. I think he also did Sicario.
Okay.
And he also did Blade Runner 2049. He won an Oscar for Blade Runner.
Yeah, I'm
2049.
just really surprised. Like you'd think he'd want to do this. I don't know.
I would think so
interesting.
too. Yeah, but he dropped out, and they gave it to a guy called Greg Fraser, who I didn't recognize his name, but this guy's not a nobody. This guy's done a shit ton of good stuff. He's doing the Batman, the new one. He's a cinematographer on that one too.
Yay.
He did Vice, Rogue One, Foxcatcher, The Gambler, Zero Dark 30, Killing Them Softly, and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that's all the trivia I got.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not much yet.
No, I was surprised. I was happy. There's actually, if you go online, there's a bunch of interviews because they were actually doing like a promotional circuit back in early 2020, before the pandemic got out of control. So there's a bunch of interviews from back then. I think even like Timothy Chalamet did an SNL to promote the movie. Like he was the host of SNL back a year and a half ago.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Yeah. So that's kind of funny. Not funny at all, really,
Right.
but it's something.
No, it's just
A
kinda
while
like,
ago.
you never heard of me, and now you're not going to for another year or so.
But there was a really, really good, I don't know what you call it. It was a Variety, like the Variety, the magazine had an online, there's about a 20-minute long mini documentary with Denis Villeneuve. And what he does is he goes through kind of like a football commentator. He has an iPad and a pen. He can draw on the screen he's showing. And he goes through the Gum Jabbar scene and walks you through every single shot, like multiple times, describing what he was going for in every aspect of it.
Oh, cool.
The guy thinks about everything so much. It is awesome listening to him talk because he's not bullshitting. You can tell. I mean, I don't think he's bullshitting. TC, you might think differently.
No,
but
I mean, it depends on how they deliver the message.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know.
he's not like, this is good because I did it and this is what I did. He's just like, this is what I was going for.
This
And
was
I
the
think
this was the thought, and
and
this
he's
is what I
always
ended
like
up with.
the people
Yeah.
that did it, like the people that took my thought and made it look like this did a really good job. He's always giving the credit. John, you like listening to Guillermo del Toro, right? So listen to this because he'll make you happy.
Is it like that? Because I still think, Pan's Labyrinth commentary was the best I've ever, like by a long shot.
So this would rival it and probably
Yeah.
overshadow it just because he's
Right.
not just commentating it, he's drawing on the screen to like
Yeah,
show you
that's
what
really
he's
cool.
talking
Yeah.
about.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he goes over it. It's
That
not
is
just
pretty
like
cool.
he has to continue as the movie continues. He repeats the scenes.
Right.
to
He's
really
like he's
describe to
constructing
you.
it for you. Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's really cool.
If they had
Yeah.
like a 6 hour long, like it probably took, the scene is like 2 minutes. It's a 20-minute long video. It would be like a 15-hour long documentary. I would watch
Wow.
the shit out of it as soon as that thing came out. It would be
Well,
amazing.
who knows? Maybe by the time we get to Dune 2, we'll be able to have lots of commentary and stuff from one to
True.
watch too.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Or Denny will.
it'll be
I
coming
will.
out.
I'm
They'll
so
be the
excited.
special edition.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a couple years.
And they're going to make 3. Do you guys know about that? If the second one does well, which it probably will.
Oh, yeah. Here we go again.
Yeah. There's a third
You
book,
better
or a
go
second
to it.
book called Messiah.
Oh, there's 6. There's like 5.
There's like
6
a
books.
bunch of books, Denny.
Right.
It's more than just
Right.
yeah.
But Messiah is like the last good one. And even like Naomi loves the first Dune book and tried and read Messiah and didn't really like Messiah that much.
It's downhill.
Yeah.
I think I still I liked them more when I was younger, but I tried to start reading Messiah again, and it just doesn't work so well.
I don't even care if nobody likes Messiah. If Denny can get a hold of it and just live in the world that it creates, it's going to be freaking fantastic.
No, it'll be good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Go out and see it in the theaters.
Go see this movie.
There is going to be Denny's producing.
Which Denny? This one?
This
one?
DV. They're going to have a mini series on HBO on the Bene Gesserit. It's going to be like a television show through HBO also too on that. So that's getting spun off and is happening too.
Wow. Raking in the money. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, building up a whole universe, kind of. Trying to go pretty soon.
I hope
cartoons.
The movie comes out before that show comes out. Maybe.
I don't know. They might be happy to have it come out before. It'll build more hype and maybe get more interest in it because it's a prequel set before everything.
Nice.
So yeah.
Oh man.
All righty.
Oh man. I'm excited. We're gonna have a few more years. 2 years until the second one. 2 more years. It's gonna be another 4 years of looking forward to these movies. That's freaking awesome.
It's pretty crazy. They got a whole thing going. They really do.
That's it. What are we doing next week, guys?
What are we doing?
Is that
a pig again or a hog or whatever the fuck it
movie?
is?
Yeah, I think we should watch that one. But this movie is in the top 250 right now.
Yep.
It's 127 with 206,000 reviews, which is pretty good.
All right. Makes it all worth it.
Hopefully it stays there. But
it's number one in popularity. Number one.
I'm sure it will. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons. So go see it, everybody.
Go see it in the theater. Even if you see it on HBO, I swear to you, if you don't have kids, go to the theater. It's a different experience.
Well, you know what?
Amazing.
I bet what's going to happen too when 2 comes out. I bet there's going to be double feature type things, or
I can't hold pee for that long.
No. Well, you get a big long break, dear. But you could go. That would be really nice.
John deared me, damn it.
Honey.
I've never been deared before.
I'm sorry, you sounded like a little petulant Denny there.
When am I not a petulant Denny? Come on.
Thank you. Hold my pee that long.
You're going to have to bring
all right,
you're going to have to wear one of those suits. Where they start selling those suits, you can pee into them when you're in the theater.
That's right. Oh,
and
nice.
You can drink
go in with a
a bag. What's that for, sir? I think you know.
I got a stadium buddy. I'm going to drink it after.
Don't worry. It's dual layered. It'll hold.
Maybe it doesn't have to be double feature, but maybe there'll be a re-release, which would be nice then.
Yeah. Sweet. So we're all going to put it in the top 250, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, good science fiction.
Next week, let's go in the complete opposite direction of this type of movie. Let's watch a movie about Nicolas Cage, the truffle pig farmer, get his pig stolen or lost or something. I don't know what happens to the pig, but it's about Nicolas Cage and a pig.
Let's go watch that.
You guys ready
that sounds
for this?
Good. I'm ready.
It's called, believe it or not, Pig. The synopsis is a truffle hunter who lives alone in the Oregonian? Is that
Oregonian? I guess, Oregon, but
Oregonian.
Indian.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that word. In the Oregonian wilderness, probably wrong, must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she is kidnapped.
All right, wow, this could be something.
That's my pig.
The truffle fucker.
Give me back my pig.
It's John Travolta, John. He's not in this movie.
I'm sorry. I can't do it. Sorry. I tried.
That was my pig.
That's not him at all, but you're still somehow getting his ass.
That wasn't my pig. That was my pig. You just have to pick random notes that don't make any sense for the sentence.
It's almost like singing. But singing really, really badly.
Yeah.
This will be good.
All right.
All right.
See you
Talk
guys.
to you guys next week.
All right. See you next week, guys.